Well, I told you I'd be back, so here I am. I was gonna do a little more on, let's see, I think I might have to adjust this on the other side. Let's see what happens over here. There we go. It's a little better. All right. There he is. You know what? It's funny. I found the star fort that I was looking for from the last show, and I wasn't thinking, and I found it on here, but my phone is charging, so I can't really show you because I don't have a program that allows me to stream while I'm capturing the screen. But it's near Saint, I think it's St. Augustine, yeah, around there. I think I'm gonna go a little farther with the star fort thing. I think it's so interesting. Does anybody in here know of star forts, or am I just talking? Am I talking to a new crowd, or the rest of you from last one, or just let me know if you know what star forts are. Let's start there. No. I mean, they might be, but no, you never heard of star forts. So, yeah, go do your due diligence on that. As soon as you get it, as soon as you dig into it, it's gonna be, there'll be a lot of moments in it. So I don't know what part of Synchron, I don't know what part of the broadcast you got into last time, but yeah, star forts are star farts. Yes, star farts. It's the brown, we call them the brown star farts. See, we call them the brown dwarf farts. It's kind of like brown. That's fucking funny. The brown dwarf star forts. Still haven't been with a dwarf yet. Been with some midgets, I think. I was with one midget, I think. But no dwarfs. What's up, Jonathan Valentine? So you found star forts, yeah. And just looking at them, it was like, cause I studied them a while ago, and I didn't understand what they did. I didn't understand what the purpose was and why anybody is like, okay, so what? They're star forts. But then I started watching a couple really good introductions on them, and it became extremely clear, extremely quickly, when you tag team that up with a bunch of other info, that it will look like the mud flood and star forts, like that alone. So watch the beginning of my last video, and I told people about a few people that I checked out on the YouTube. One was Conspiracies Are Us, and the other one was Mud Floods, and the other one was I can't remember the other one, but you'll hear it on my last video. And if you go to the first dude that I told you, look in his description section of some of his videos, and he should have links to everyone else. So it's a little community of people that know about star forts, and their channels are very small. They get a lot of traction, and everybody knows like what they're saying is like next level shit. Yeah, I mean, this for me, this is like, you know, you get those few times where you find that little piece of information. It's like, oh, this shit right here. Like, for most people, like, flat Earth was pretty big, but then, you know, you got like offshoots of that. Like, that's pretty fucking huge. But this right here is just too easy. It's too easy to prove. It's too easy to just look at. It's too simple. It's the kind of thing where if you showed someone this and they didn't say, and they said, yeah, so what? Then they're like, they might as well just be dead. Because you can actually physically see the evidence, and if they're like, well, no, it's kind of like no, you would build the building that way. And they know nothing about architecture. They know nothing about how you build something. And it's so easy to see with your eyes. And then, so between the mud flood and these old buildings and star forts, it's really it's a no-brainer. Yeah, the star forts just trip me out because of how fucking accurately the whole thing is. It's so trippy to me. It's people go, no, those were built for wars. Like, do you know how much you care if an angle was off slightly during a war? You wouldn't fucking care. Like, you wouldn't build something so perfectly. Like, the star forts are built in a way that it's better engineered than your house is today. And they built it just so somebody could bomb it. It wouldn't make any sense. You could build a fortress any fucking way you want. It doesn't take something that looks like a snowflake to be perfected geometric designs that you would have to be looking down on to build something so perfect. Yeah, Washington D.C. is an owl. The Vatican is a star fort. It's a really big one too. There's lots of them. When I say lots, there's a whole. Most of them have been buried. Some of them were destroyed, and other ones were built on top of, and other ones you luck out. And this one from St. Augustine, Florida, I believe, it's right on the coast. And this is worth repeating, because if the star fort was to battle things, there'd be no reason for it to be on the east coast of Florida. It's literally on the coast, and the whole thing isn't even there. It's like the star fort, part of it was blown off. Like, part of it doesn't exist. You would build the whole thing completely, but the way you see it is it's not built completely. And you'll see a lot of forts that aren't completely put together. Well, or there's mud over it, or they were destroyed. Why they were destroyed was not the Civil War, because that's ridiculous. Because you don't build your war fortress more beautiful than you build your fucking houses. It just wouldn't make any sense. It's like if you're about to go fucking fuck some shit up, you don't build it pristine. You don't build it out of the perfect geometries. What's up, Skyhopper? The Pentagon, Lumeno, the Pentagon. See, the Pentagon is like a whole nother, like the Pentagon was actually built after trying to mimic what the star forts were doing. The Pentagon is just, well, it's a pentagram, and they're trying to use a certain set of energies, but the original star forts are fucking insane. I wish I could pull some up here so you guys could see while I'm talking, but this just would encourage you. I think that's maybe why I talk and I don't do these. I'm long-winded, but I don't do presentations, is so you can go see for yourself. Because once you start looking at these star forts, if you go to just like starforts.com or starforts.org or some shit like this, and you start scrolling through and looking at these things, you immediately go, yeah, those were not built for war. Those were not for that reason. And then you start to look at where they are, and it clues you in even more. Just because it's the second one that I looked at, that I was just like, why is that there? That's not doing anything, unless it was just for the purpose of making a major city, or creating a vortex of energy within a system, because all shapes they create energetic vortexes. And so within these vortexes, something existed of a higher value. You could look into cities that still have star forts that didn't get blown up, and the cities are fucking bountiful and they're beautiful. And you look at how the size of them, the amount of architecture, and accordingly, apparently these were made in the 1500s. Most of them, right? That people went through all of this architecture in the 1500s to basically plumb the system out with water into fountains and make these things, and that was for war. It's idiotic. It would make like a child, if you presented a child with this information, like, yeah, of course they were building something beautiful and for health and healing, and then people are like, no, they were doing that for the war, and that was just They were building something in the 1500s for the war that was going to happen in the 1800s. It's literally the technology in the 1500s. Like, what were they doing? What, were they going to throw some fucking rocks at you? They're going to throw rocks at your fucking giant fortress? It's so it's so funny. Yeah, the capital city's fire drakes. Yeah, well, you know what I'm really interested in is if we look outside of because there's a really interesting map. If you look up the if you look up all of the, as I was getting into the last video, they're called the Carolina Bays or the Virginia Bays. I forget. I'm sorry. I forget. I think it's the Virginia or the Carolina Bays, and it's these. If you look at where they are, it makes this perfect circle around the curve of the U.S. and they don't plot the whole thing in, but I started looking along where the circle was, and you're gonna find a lot of really interesting things, that those bays line up with where star forts probably were, because there's a bunch of star forts that line up with that, which are right there along the I-95 corridor. And if you're familiar with the I-95, that connects, for anybody who doesn't know, that connects like Philly, DC, Philly, DC, Boston, et cetera, goes right down the coast. And that's one of the, when you plot it out the right way on a flat surface, it becomes a little bit different than it does on a globe or a fake map. Hey, what's the mama herb? Oh, that herb, okay. What's up, Super Champion? Yeah, man, watch my last video and then start digging into it, man. I'll the next video I make, I'll try to do a little video footage, because like I said, I did the first one from my phone and I'm doing this one from my computer now. So I can just like at least, I have software that I could do a screen capture, but it would take me 2 hours to do it, and then for me, I wouldn't have enough. Put it this way, I don't have enough gigabytes of memory on my computer or my phone to make a video more than 5 minutes long. So it would be next to worthless. So I got to do this live so it doesn't eat up any gigabytes. So what I could do is film something. It's not gonna be great, but at least it'll give you guys something to look at, and then you guys can go check it out yourself. But I highly suggest go doing the research into the star forts and all of there's. I'm just on the back of people that have done like major league research, like into this kind, like that's their study, and it's next level shit. Star forts were basically if I were to give you the 2-sentence breakdown of what star forts were and still are, their healing centers, just like pyramids are, and they were for free energy, and they were collecting energy within cities, and creating basically free energetic environments for healing. Also, they were probably used for sound as well, but most of it was vortex energy and pulling energy out of the, out of the, whatever you want to call it, the space around us. Yeah, the extraction though is now actually extracted for some other purpose. But prior to the 1800s, no, I think this gets into the last video, which I think there's this mega false history that we're given, and those points prior to that were part of the Tartarian Empire. It seems like, which is why you've never even heard of that. It's connected to Genghis Khan and the empires of the Mongols and the Tartarians. And it's very interesting. Even if you look up flags, their flag is very, very, very almost. It's the same thing. It's really interesting. But nobody's even heard of this empire that probably spanned the globe, and it was all more or less an enterprise to heal people, give them free energy. They were probably working off of, how to put it in a simple way. They were using energies to advance civilization. Yeah, synchronicity, I hear you on that. It's interesting that when we say third dimension, like, you know, we have perception of what we see, and then we also have like, okay, like right now, here, I'll give you my perception. My perception right now, hey, I got a drink in front of me, I got a computer, I can talk to you guys, I got some beautiful flowers here, everything's groovy. You know, in this moment, I'm good. But then when I take a step up, and I go, okay, there's people right down the street here. This dude is tripping over his feet, suffering. Dude ain't eating. His clothes is all beaten up. And I see these people over here. Like there's some more shit going on, right? And so I take that into my third dimension reality. But I know in the fifth dimension, you know, I'm good. In the sixth dimension, we fucking. And then I get to the center point. I'm just like, you know, creating this. But this thing that you say about being in a very separate place, yeah, you know, a separate place in time. It's kind of the same thing. Are we on different timelines? Sure. Are we in different place? If we're on a different timeline, we're in a different place for sure. We can never be in the exact same place at the same time, because that's you know, you can't. Nothing can be in the same place at the same time. It just wouldn't work that way. So we all have to have a little bit of, you know, space in between us. This is why I've kind of talked about before that people from another dimension, like a higher dimension, they're not allowed to be in the same space in the third dimension, because maybe that's what's happened in past timelines, histories of the world, if you will, that there was too many of the same, like people from the fifth or sixth dimension came together in the third dimension, and it was too easy for lower vibrational energies to infect or destroy that. So they had to spread us out. So if I'm a ninth dimensional being, then the next ninth dimensional being is going to have to be 152 miles away from me. Or if I'm an eighth dimensional being, the next being from the eighth dimension could be 130 miles away from me. If I'm a third dimensional being, well, people from third dimension can be next to me. But if I'm in the fourth dimension, I might see somebody down the street from the fourth dimension. You know, I think there's that kind of space-time differentiation. Not that we from different dimensions don't walk past each other at times. I think we just it's kind of like you just nod and keep it moving. It's like, you know, those people that you just really get down with, but you're like, oh, they already know. There's nothing I can do. Just, they're good. What's up, David Mannion? Fire Drake, yeah, that movie, Jupiter Ascending, I believe that's the one that really sucked. Is that the one that really sucked? I'll have to rewatch that, but yeah. Jonathan, if you give me a donation within the past, if you've given me a donation prior to today, yes, I've already used that for a drink, and I highly appreciate it. Even if you gave me if anybody gave me a donation today, it goes towards this. So I spent $2.50 of someone's donation today, and well, and this $1.99. I'm a low cost entertainment. I need approximately $50 a day would have me. I'd be able to cover everything. $20 a day would cover just my eating, because I don't really eat that often, but I drink a little bit. So $20 a day would get me through a day. Roof over the head and all that shit, to be comfy and get some new gear once in a while. Yeah, $50 a day. What's that? I'm not very good at math, but that's 1,500. Yeah, I'm a very expensive date, but I don't need a lot. Sinking City, 3D realm is cultivating the fourth, sixth dimensions. Yeah, I like the idea. Like if energy is always being vortexed down into a more condensed version of reality, like your physical spacesuit, your body, it's what houses the higher frequencies. That's why you can get out of your body at night or get out of your temple at night. It's kind of like you always see the princess or the prince leaving the castle at night. He leaves the castle at night and he goes and runs through the cities where it's dark, but it's his city. But hopefully you got that last thing, because it just shut it off when I said it. Yeah, we have our own reality bubbles, realms, and we ain't supposed to be shoved together like sardines. That's for sure. That's why major cities, reason for the community of humans, and wherever you're from, to come together in something, whether it's in meditation or dancing or eating or whatever the fuck you do. But as a general practice, I think people are supposed to be, what's the wisdom from the Chinese culture? Have close neighbors but keep a high fence. That's one of their things they say. Or to have, you need a certain amount of space in between you. You know what I mean? There's always. It's always interesting, the sounds of the city, huh? What's up, Arak? Skyhopper, thank you. You can, and anyone else that would like to donate to me through PayPal, it is paypal.me/TsarXen, TsarXen. That should link up right with me, and then you have to click on I know some people said they had problems with it the first time, but you have to click on the dollar amount and then go from there. That's me. I think it has a picture of my dumb face, unless it's Ami's face. I don't know, but that's my PayPal. And for anybody else that doesn't use PayPal, you can at me through the Cash App, which is the $sign and then TsarXen. Yeah. So obviously I appreciate all that. Keeps me lubricated, hydrated, and goofy. And keeps my mind agile. Oh, Diggy D, that was uncomfortable. What was uncomfortable? Because I told you how to give me money? It'd be more uncomfortable if you came in this chat backwards with your ass facing forward. Who are you, Diggy D? Do I know you? What a... Oh, the sirens. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me telling... Yeah, hey, don't worry about that. We make the sirens go away. It's not even... we're not at the sea, You ever been out at the sea? I met those sirens of the sea. They're always screaming and crying about shit. I feel like there's a really big connection between the sirens and the everybody knows that Puerto Rican girl, great lover, and she's loud about everything. Yeah, that's the siren right there. And Diggy D, what's up, man? How can I? Because you're new, you can sit and watch. I don't know. We already had a pretty long conversation this last show, but as these tend to work, you can feel free to jump in and ask a question. It could be about anything, because I'm kind of encyclopedic of knowledge. And so if you need anything, just ask, and then if I can provide, I will. Other than that, we go off on tangents. And what's up, Marasha F? Yeah, somebody give me some direction, point a direction, and I'll get into that. It's the reason I say that, because I think everyone here knows I've made enough thousands of hours of videos of me talking on all of the different shit. So I don't want to repeat myself for people that already know what's up with things. But if you don't know, I will tell it in a different way. And so whatever you don't know and you want to know, if you have a curiosity, rub the genie's lamp, rub the lamp, and poof, you get an answer. Hey, Cars and Flowers. Conspiring, yeah, I think everything's a conspiring. You know, the word is not a bad word. It just means things work together for something. And I think there's a good reason a lot of people don't get to listen to me. Some of it because I don't want them to, and others is because it would do more harm than good. Do you know if you gave somebody more power than they were ready to handle, it might hurt them? Or if you gave somebody some sort of information that people go off with half the information? And so for the information that I give, there's so much of it, it would confuse people. That it would knock people right off the path. You know, there's as much as people, their order of finding different things within this like whole web of craziness, meaning like some people, you know, the 9/11 was their thing, or some people it's like, oh, the medical field is like this, or some people are like, oh, my history teacher didn't know everything, or they read my teacher, you know, the lies of my teacher, or maybe they started to realize about the church, and the church wasn't there for their own good, although those bells are. But yeah, there's a whole way to get to the information, and the fact that my channel is as big as it is, which isn't that big, is only due to the fact that I guess I've been doing it for a while, but it's not even that big because I just don't want it to be, because I'm very introverted. I'm not an extrovert, unless you ask people that know me. But yeah, I hear you on the thing. There's some people's channels that like the information just isn't. People are not primed. How's that? If I go with pronoid, or you know, the opposite of paranoia, if I go to did something and there's a better intelligence than me, or divine architect of things, maybe it's just me, or maybe it's me and some other people on the 4th or 5th dimension, then there wouldn't be people listening to me that couldn't be here, because then all you'd ever hear me do is just go into fucking minor league baseball fucking announcer and just start shitting on people and just being comedic and funny and goofy. And that if I do that all the time because I got an audience that's too big, that I would never get any information across. So I like to believe it that way. Activation codes, what you want to do over the Shivambu updates? You mean from my part, like where am I with the Shivambu, or is there anything that you can add to it, or is there a way to increase the you know, how good it is for you, you know? I don't know, I think there's ways to increase the alchemy of it. I think there's, you know, have you ever had different kind of foods and then afterwards it tastes slightly different, or you get a different feeling afterwards? I think there's as I've done before a long time ago, I don't even think I made a video about it, but just piss into a copper, a brass bowl. Piss into a brass bowl, like a tuning bowl. Do you know about the old tuning, the old we got tuning forks, excuse me, like a ringing bowl, and then play that note, and then you'll charge your water and organize your own water that way. That's one way you can do it. You can add all sorts of different elements to it, which I think will only increase the efficacy. See, I can just come out here, I'm gonna use words like efficacy. How many people there you even know what that means? I don't even know what it means, I just like to say it. I think it has something to do with medicine. I think it means better at doing something. But you can increase the efficacy of the element. So find ways of harmonizing your Orin, either by using tuning forks on your person, or when it comes out, you can use a bowl. In fact, if you look into the old quartz crystal bowls from Egypt, what you'll see is that they found in the base of it there to be grape juice, like the resin from a grape juice, which was wine, because what they were doing is they were putting wine inside of these big quartz bowls. You know that you go and sit and you kind of go home, and everybody sits around like listening to the guy hit the bells and hit the cymbals. Bowls, bells is balls, bowls, cymbals and bells, right? And then they got the crystal bowls. Bowls or balls and bells, it's all the same word, right? What they would really do is be using that to turn wine into a more organized version of itself. So you can take your wine and put it in the crystal bowls. And I would find, if you can, you're not going to find the perfect tone because it's a very expensive bowl to find, because it's not a pitch that people are familiar with. But you're going to find I believe you're going to look for a D flat. Probably the best thing to look for right now. F sharp, D flat. I'm thinking that's what you're looking for. Although you can't go wrong with the C. The C note is going to be good for just about anything because it's just a natural. And you want to make sure these, just a little upgrade on that, make sure that these things are tuned properly, not to 440. I think everyone that's making these bowls at this point know what the fuck's going on, and they're tuning it to 432, 528, 417, 396, those kind of things, which are constructive. And I would also make sure that if you do get one, you test it out and you make sure it's actually playing the right frequency, because it's a slight difference between 440 and 432. So one is very constructive and one is destructive frequency. And that goes, and if you want to get right into the star forts, what it seems like happened is there's a frequency played that was a destructive frequency. That tone caused the earth to become more like, well, if we get into the cartoons, why didn't the cartoons did you all, and in the movies when growing up, you always thought there'd be something you'd run into sometime in your life, that you'd find some quicksand, some mud that would, and that's what the mud flood is it's quicksand basically. And so why isn't all the cartoons, why isn't the old movies? Because it's trying to tell you something. And so that frequency is a destructive frequency that will allow the earth to randomize itself and allow water to come up and seep through and create a sloppy, messy environment where something in organizing fashion like 432, which would cause a good harmonic, will keep shape and form in a better way. And that's just a little inlet into why the star forts, or how the star forts might have been crushed. It might have been a frequency underneath the earth that caused these dips and not something come from the sky. And that's just for people that are already familiar with the last video I was making and a few of the connections I was making. Like I said, again, I don't do these things, even though I might try to. I might just upgrade this whole fucking thing and get a green screen and start doing this like big time. But I like to talk, so you have to do your own research. So that way I'm just not like, hey, look at the picture and shit over here, guys. But the natural harmonics, back to the looping it around here, the natural harmonics of 432 create a shape that is stable and strong, where 440 is destructive. So if you put that in your wine, your beer, your urine, I wouldn't do it in beer because beer is already living and it's kind of a chaos theory thing. It kind of exists within its own awesomeness. It's just a living, breathing organism where you can take wine or a spirit that's already been distilled, and you can create a shape within it. So then it will so water, distilled water or distilled liquors or wine will hold shape. Whereas with beer, you'll just kind of make it not be fizzy and happy. Say Synchronicity, what you mean? There's 10K room. Apparently YouTube pays a visit. Well, they will pay. Is that, what are they paying for? I don't know. This is, yes. Let me continue. Let me say one thing. Sky Hopper, thank you for the $9.99. And here's and I didn't even realize the super chat money on. I appreciate it, obviously, but for everybody that does know, giving me cash through there, YouTube cuts some of that off right off the top. I get taxed just for making this, and there's something that's happened during a few of my shows where people were donating currency to me, and there was a song played on in the background, or just a car drove by, and somebody copyright claimed my whole fucking video, so I lost all that money. Like, I lost a bunch of money from people just driving by with radios on. So just let you all know, I appreciate it, and I think I'll still get that, but it's the thought that counts, and so thank you anyways, and thank you for that, because I will go buy myself a beverage. I should probably just shut this shit off and start a new one to make sure I can get my 666 out of you. Well, you're over there, so you said 999. It gets flipped, because I think your money is your money worth less or more than our money? Activation codes. Where are we versus beginners? I mean, wow, that's a really deep question. Hey, activation codes. Ask me a little more on that question and how you want me to phrase that, because I kind of think I know what you're saying, but go a little deeper on that question. Activation codes. Where are we, or you, versus a beginner? Are you talking about just on the Orn, or you just mean in the grand scheme of things, or what are we looking at as a species? Or are we looking at it as like a community? What are you looking at it as? Like all of that shit? There's many ways for me to go with that. And here's a little update. I got 15% charge left on this thing. You, however, have a battery charger in there that just in the event that we kept running this, I would go grab my charger from inside so we can keep this going. You've been trying shungite in your piss? I don't know anything about that, man. You talking about just a chunk of shungite, you piss in the bowl and drink it? It's Fire Drake. Fire Drake, I always fucking enjoy the rhymes you hit me with. And yeah, on here and on fucking the Instagrams. The Instagram. What's up, Triad Decarp? A space stone? Yeah. It's holding some kind of space. Maybe get yourself a piece of gypsum, Lucianne. Gypsum. The boards that your house is made from, it's called gypsum. It's a gypsum stone. And there's a connection between gypsy stones and gypsum. I think I covered that maybe 2 years ago. Which is very fire retardant, by the way. That's why they build houses with it. Because it doesn't burn. Much like many, but it's also a soft crystal. Oh, activation codes. How to begin and what to expect. For the new people, how to begin. Don't take everyone else's, hey, drink your first piss a day. Don't listen to them. What you should do is you should drink water all day. What you should do really is do a couple days of juice. I mean, I don't know how you work. I don't know where you're starting with like what your diet looks like, but I would do a day at least of eating something healthy. Like just don't eat the fried food. Don't eat the spicy food. Just lots of water and lots of juice. And even if you're eating the fruits, fine. You eat the vegetables, fine. And then I would do the second day of water, and go ahead, throw some juice in there, and then at the end of the day, drink your piss, and you'll find that it tastes not only okay, but maybe delightful. Even if you're pretty unhealthy, I think you should be able to within 2 days find that your urine is at least palatable, and the first of the day is going to be strong, because the first of the day is your body sitting in in the position of you know, if you look at the clock and what the Taoist clock said, and what happens at night, it's extracting things out of your cellular fluidiums. So you've got your intercellular and extracellular fluids, which are supposed to be calcium and sodium, and the stuff that's supposed to be inside during the night, which is supposed to be magnesium and potassium, and they trade places, and that is going to cause a lot of taste in your urine in the morning. It's going to be a lot of medicine, so it's going to be bitter. Most of the time it'll be bitter, which is good medicine, but you're gonna drink it and it's going to taste like a pill, because it's going to be all of the bitter alkaloids, because your body is always, your kidneys are inverting the pH and inverting the energy of the system. So if you take poison, it gives you a panacea. If you take something unhealthy, it's going to give you the thing to fix it. So if you're going to eat things in a certain direction, it's going to give you the opposite. So if you eat a lot of sweet things, it's going to make it very bitter. And that bitter is connected to medicine. So every medicine that everybody takes is bitter, because there's alkaloids in it, and alkaloids are a healing mechanism. Take a pill, it always tastes bitter. Find anybody that has that herbal tea, it's going to taste nasty and bitter. And so this is why what they do is they say take a little honey, little sugar to wash down the medicine. So you kind of bind and cover up the bitterness or the alkaloids with the honey. And if you do it right, you can actually make it taste good, and you'd have what is called a chai or a chi. And the chi comes from energy, chi and chai, which means a culmination of different currency. Curry means currency. Chai means chi, is the energy of the different elements within, say, the way the Indians would eat. There's a lot of turmeric, there's a lot of ginger, there's a lot of spice, there's a lot of things that on their own would be a little harsh to take down. But if you put some milk fats around them, and you put a little milk fat, a little sugar in there, a little honey, it's going to all of a sudden taste wonderful, magical in fact, and it's going to be super, super healthy. And in fact, those milk fats and those sugars are going to help bind themselves to all of the different elements that you've put into a tea. And so all those bitter alkaloids will find their way throughout your system a little easier. Or you could get right to the point and just put it into high intensity alcohol. Like you mean just extract it right into the alcohol and take a drop of alcohol under the tongue. This is where you get all the tinctures from, which is a deeper Ayurvedic practice. Lucianne, you know what? Yes, yeah, definitely. And I'm definitely still considering putting together a video of not just my listeners, but I'm gonna go to all the other channels and just let them know, here we'll do a fucking little documentary. And yeah, I'm definitely down to do that still. How to get the urine from the urine? I think the urine is the urine. I don't think there's a differentiation. I think what you'd probably be saying is how to collect the philosopher's stone. If there's a stone, it'd be the actual salt that's beneath it, which would be the white powder gold, or the ormus, or the orbitally rearranged molecular structured thing that after it goes through your body, it will produce a condensed salt. Kind of same way as you can produce a diamond or out of pressure and heat, or a crystal from the length of time within a system to drip a crystal out of like a stalactite or a stalagmite, which are two separate different things but very similar. A stalagmite, right, versus a stalactite. One goes up, one goes down. What a crazy weird little thing that is. But there's a reason one's dripping, one's growing. They both have something to offer. But that's a whole nother get down in that story. Yeah, activation codes. Yeah, distilled water is anything that is not still, to split stillness. Die still means to split still, and so anything that's moving. So Once you remove all of the things that would cause something to stagnate, it becomes distilled. And then once you put that distilled water, which is what happens after it goes up into the clouds and comes back down, the water has become distilled like rainwater, and then it goes into the ground and starts to seep up into a living system, and those living salts and things in there are not weighing the water down, but helping to create the energetic charge which is within the water. But the water is still itself distilled because there's no inorganic minerals inside a piece of fruit or vegetable. Because if you put that inorganic in there, it's going to take away from the charge. It's going to take away from the energy. Lucianne, there's a really interesting alchemical diatribe that somebody wrote on how to extract the ormus from urine, of saying that was the actual thing. I don't think you need to do it, but I think it can be done, and it's basically just using the simple alchemical principles of, you know, slowly cooking things off, excuse me, to get yourself that solid at the bottom, which would be the salt. And the salts are connected. So in alchemy, you have you got the vinegar, you got the, so I don't know if you know alchemy like that. Just a simple overview of alchemy will give you what the different elements are, but you're looking for the mercury, and then you have the salt, which is the leftover thing, which some people tend to say that's the thing. I don't agree with it completely. I think it is helpful and I think it can be used, but I think just the urine itself is what's it. So if it's already in there, why do I gotta go do it out of my body? Like, the whole alchemical system is already your body. If you want to watch it happen and show somebody in a laboratory setting that this is how it works and this is what you're getting, yeah, I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great tool and teaching and a lesson, but I don't think it needs to be done. So if that makes sense, hopefully. Oh, Skyhopper, huh? Chips must produce some high temperature coal burning. Bitters are better. Bitters are better medicine, yeah. The bitters and the betters are the butters. Bitters, betters, butters. Alright, Diggy D. Yeah, if you ever need anything, ask me where to look for it, because they're not very organized. 1.20 T pound sterling silver. What's the when you say T pound? I kind of lost on your language there, Skyhopper. You said 1.20 T pound silver sterling. Yeah, Lucianne. One time I took some really old orin that I had, probably like 7 years old, and I tried to filter it like they said through a coffee filter, and it didn't work too well. I just wasted a lot of fucking really good orin. But nonetheless, you live and you learn. So I'll just let it all settle at the bottom. I've eaten some before and I've put it on my face and done things. But as I've usually told people, it's hard for me to isolate one thing, doing something, because when I was doing that, I was also very healthy and doing other things in my life that only contributed to how good that might have been. But I know it did something. Yeah, so there you go. The actual, well, see, you say the orin settles in the bottom. I don't think it's the orin that settles in the bottom, Fire Drake, to get the language right. I think the ormes, O-R-M-E-S. O-R-M-U-S is something that they make within certain cultures. And let me give you one more level here. That ormus or armes, they're both doing a similar thing, but they're both connected to gold, and gold is a heating element. And so that heating element will give you something as a connection, but if you're going to heat something up, you need to have a conduit for it. That conduit, which cools something down, which is like rubber around a copper wire, you want rubber around it, or you want a fluid, like super cooled computers have water in them, or some type of water and something. and what you're looking for is rose water or alcohol. These are both ways to extract DNA and to keep it living. They extract DNA in alcohol. So what do you think it's doing in your body? It's keeping it cool. By keeping it cool, so by combining rose and gold together, you're getting a whole new essence. So rose gold is taking the plant life of rose. If you look at what a rose is and the connection to love and Valentine's and Venus and women, and gold and this connection to the fiery nature of man, because gold is like man, right? You burn off all the dross and you get this 24 karat gold, which is this high level energy conductor that's also malleable. You'd put rose water and gold together to give yourself a high form of energetics. And yeah, that's what's up. So the orin is the fluidium, and the stuff at the bottom is the ormus, and the ormus is connected to what would be called the white gold, or the gold powder, or the, what do they call it, the there's one more word I want to use, but you get the idea. Synchronicity, I have not. Interesting question. Jordan Tar here. Activation codes, the sunlight and the aged urine is excellent. Or fresh urine even, yeah. And synchronicity, okay, yeah, then you know what, I've had both of those. I've seen the creamy white sauce, and I've also seen something that was more solid. Lucian, you're welcome. Yeah, I think that's the synchronicity, the gold as an alchemy, what the actual gold is. It's piss gold, I think it is. I mean, I think it's connected to what life is, and if you think life is gold, then there you go. Back to Ponce de Leon and the search for the immortality, search for the, you know, the drink of the gods, the how to find immortality. And I think it's more connected to those kind of stories of what the gold was. The body is an alchemical laboratory. This is, yep. Hey, Fire Drake, when you wrote that, I remember me and Jeannie were talking about this a while back. We were talking about the word glands, and I read it, received the gland prize. The gland, it's the land of the G's. Dimension extension. When you said it smelled god awful, help me out here, because I want to steer you in the right direction, because there is god awful, which is, you'll know if it's wrong, and then there's something that smells like ammonia. Now, if your mason jar was dirty, or you put the cap on and didn't let it air, you need to breathe. It needs to be done anaerobically, or excuse me, aerobically. You need to let it breathe. You need to have like a on top of the urine should be either a loose cap so it can breathe. Aerobics. That's how you make certain substances. This is how fermentation works. Or if it's anaerobic, if you put the top on, which is not breathing. There's no aerobics going on. If the cap was on tight the whole time, it's not going to turn out right. You need to let it breathe, but it also can't be letting in bacteria. So you need to put a cheesecloth or something on top to not let any bacteria in, because then I've ruined piss once or twice, either by using a dirty jar, or it being in a temperature that was just, it was too hot of a place. You know, some things can go wrong when you're brewing beer, right? The same thing can happen with urine. So if it's awful, if it smells awful, it's fucking awful. But if it smells like ammonia, then you're on the right path. Most people don't fuck it up. It's hard to fuck up. If you put it in a mason jar and put a cheesecloth on it, then you should be good. So, but I don't know what you think god awful is. Some people don't like the smell of aged urine at all. But then again, some people don't like the smell of ammonia. Ammonia is very high. So all these people on this high alkaline diet, it's very high alkaline pH. It's very healing for the body. Jonathan Valentine. I've covered that so many times, but never through those words. Christ L, Jew L. Yeah. As simple as you can make it. The cheapest things you can find are crystals. Jewels cost a lot. But the effectiveness on this realm for doing work is obviously crystals. Crystals are used in everything. Crystals are used in computer systems. Crystals are used in your quartz crystal watch. Crystals are used for lots of things. Those other stones or gems or jewels, they have much less of a purpose. They're just shiny, they're shiny objects that cost a lot of money. The people are like, oh, I got a shiny object. But the difference is, those things you have to cut. If you take one of those things, if you take a diamond, you have to cut that diamond. You have to cut it to make it shine and look right. But if you find quartz, it grew that way. It grew into that perfect shape. It's a big difference. And the one is cheaper and is doing more because you can cut quartz. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that the way the two are grown, a diamond is the biggest chicken land. A diamond is more plentiful than fucking anything in the world. It's like so fucking plentiful. How's it so expensive? Because they artificially inflate the price and make people say a diamond is forever. They make you put it on your Saturnian ring finger and think that somebody means that they love you because they spent a lot of money on you, except for that thing has way less actual energetic capacitance than a piece of crystal. So there you go. And yeah, and the L's, obviously the L's are the angles or the angels or the gods. Yeah. Is that Chrono? You'll find out for yourself. Do you feel smarter? Yeah, Jay Dreamers is wicked, man. I dig him. Yeah, the synchronicity. Okay, check it out, y'all. This is almost dead, so let me go run inside and I'll continue this. I gotta grab my charger. I'm not leaving this out here, so I'm gonna bring you guys with me. Give me a second. I gotta go run inside and grab this charger. And I'll finish up with this. Which one am I at here? Synchronicity, we'll go back to the blood facials. So, can you hear me, y'all? Let's just get this blood facial thing over with. I never knew that was a thing, but yeah, it's got the same kind of energies and life force. But back in the day, what all of the pretty little actresses and chicks coming out there putting their own urine on their face, that was the real thing, because the urine is contained within the urine is the urea, and the urea is in most beauty products anyways. The addition of the blood is just kind of, you know, they're just getting a little extra with it, that's all. They might not even be doing it, and then some of them might be, because they're just strange. They just listen to people, they say shit and they do it. It's gonna be beneficial to the face, but it's also kind of, you know, whatever. But yeah, there's the clarified. It'd be like the difference between using butter and using clarified butter. Clarified butter is the best part of the butter. It'd be the urea. The urea is what you're looking for, and there's more urea, more clean urea in urine there is in blood. So there you go, synchronicity. Yeah, Lucienne, 3 weeks is, you know, that's give or take. It depends on the temperature and how rich you want it. Like, yeah, I think as far as I've been, you know, using it, you know, I didn't read it anywhere, and nobody's gave it exact time frame, but 3 weeks seems about right. Hey, Skyhopper, the rice experiment, yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, Skyhopper, I thought it was very interesting with you because of you're very much of a gray wizard. You know, you're more non-denominational. Your general energy signature. So I think it's very interesting how your rice experiment, you know, came out compared to how most people's would, you know. Because of like what like how you transmuting of energy and things. Like in the best world, all the rices would come out exactly the same. But for the purpose of the experiment, I think most people still got, you know, you gotta find some anger, you got some hate, and most people do ignore things anyways, because it's hard not to, when you have a lot of things going on in your world, like you have to overlook things. So I think most people, the rice I've had one person that did the rice experiment, and it came out like backwards, or it just failed. And it's because as soon as they went into it, like I knew the kind of person they were just a really awful person, and they just was like, this is a stupid experiment, I don't even want to do it, and blah blah blah. And I could tell they already ruined the experiment before they even tried it. But it's very interesting that you say that, man. Oh, Synchron, you did? Do they know you over there like that? Are you on his channel like that? Because I've been on some of his live streams. I only catch a little bit of them. But like, I don't know how much of my audience and his audience cross paths because of just the way that I do things, the way he does. But that's funny. That's wicked. You mentioned you're in therapy on that. Whenever I get on people's broadcasts that I know, I try to mention it. I don't give a fuck. Like, usually nobody responds. They're like, who the fuck is this dude? What the fuck is he talking about? Oh no, he said he wasn't drinking bodily excrements. And he'll grow up one day. Well, you know what? It was funny because, you know, where me and him, we were on the same kind of thing. It was when we were talking to people about a blood over intent. Because he'd be like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. And he used to have like very like heated debates and conversations with these people. and they'd be like shitting on him, like, this is the way, this is the only way, you gotta blah blah blah, and he'd be like, this is not how the magic works. And I was like, yeah, man. And this is when I was doing a lot of shit telling people how the magic actually works, and saying, you know, you can do it if you want, but you don't need to. And I was trying to tell people how it actually, like, how all the fluids are the same. But you know, if he said he doesn't drink bodily fluids, I wonder what his diet is. I wonder if he drinks the fluid of a pig, like, or excuse me, like of a cow, like milk, or if he's like, is he? I don't think he doesn't look like a vegan to me. He doesn't seem like a vegan. I know he smokes. You know, so I wonder what kind of fluids he does consume. You know, it just, you know, everybody's got their blind spots in what they're doing, but you know, all in all, what he's putting out there is fucking wicked. I've really enjoyed all the information he puts together. His shit he did on Superman was amazing, super amazing. Yeah, get him, you know, yeah, get him on his own goodness, right? Cheerleading, pee drinking, ain't it funny? It's a thing I used to, some of the arguments I've had with people, like, fucking culty, like, you're a cult. I'm like, no, you're just actually doing yourself. I ain't asking you to, like, drink my piss or eat the blood of Christ. I'm saying, go home and see for yourself. That shit's already yours. It's already in you. But, you know, for him, obviously he's never done the research because he doesn't know what excrements or the excretions of the body are and what their uses are. They all have uses. Like, if you eat fruit, you're eating fruit out of the shit from your body. If you shit in a garden, that should be you're not eating the shit, but you're using the energetic charge that the poo-poo is giving. Yeah, I can see it. The being alike with him. He did this really great. He called the state. What is it? Give me 1 second here. What the fuck did he call? Like the state the parks department for Nevada, for the big hole in the ground. The fucking name is that place? Fucking the Grand Canyons, right? He called there and talked to this woman for like 30 minutes and made this wonderful fucking video. He had this really great sense of humor about it, but he was like, he just sat there and talked to this woman who was fucking out of her mind, brain dead. And it was so interesting to listen to him talk. I was like, man, dude's got some patience. Nature Restored, I don't know who that is, man. Daydreamers is really good, man. Like, yeah, I even think for even people that are very mid-level advanced shit, like, he knows his shit. Like, he puts his presentations together really well, put it that way. You know, and I dig all the extra shit he puts on his channel. I think it's a nice step up for the conscious community, for the truth seekers, for people that are really, like, know what's up and they're trying to get into what magic is and what this experience is and all that. I think he's up there for sure. Like, he's definitely one of my favorites to, like, when I want to sit down and, like, just get some popcorn and watch a good presentation. He's got a really good presentation. Restored, huh? I don't know. What up, Jordan Wheeland? Lucianne, I know we do. I was supposed to do a show with him a long time ago, and it was it just timing didn't work out. I think it was right around my birthday, and I was just fucking busy. I was moving, and just had shit going on, whatever. I just didn't do a show with him, but I might do a show with him soon. We do is cool, man. He's had a lot of He's fixed a lot of his life issues. Like, I know he used to be like a chef, and like, yeah, he's a cool dude. Yeah, Fire Jake, I hear you. He'd have her question some of the things. Like, he planted some seeds for sure. What's up, Cloud9? Skyhopper. I must have missed where you said that before. Somebody's a year without a migraine. That's excellent. Hey, 444. Nice. Yeah, I told him I'll just do it on. I mean, he wanted me to come on his channel. This is a long time ago. It was just something that didn't develop at the time, and yeah, I would do a show with him. Hey, Zach Crona, you said you seen Revenge on Massive Earth videos. Really? Was he being complimentary, or was he like, blah blah blah, you should eat fucking blood in front of vegans, or what was he doing? Hey, Fire Drake, I would. It just it'd have to be under, like, I've already, you know, my piece on him is like, he wouldn't hear me. He couldn't hear me though. I mean, I would, but like, for me, I have no need to argue with somebody like that, because all he'll do is argue. He wouldn't be like, hey, is there something I can learn from you? Because, you know what, I used to watch his videos and I learned some shit from him, but he could never concede to the point that there are literally cultures all over the world that are vegetarian. He probably couldn't concede that point. And if he conceded that one single obvious glaring fact, and then, I mean, that motherfucker literally, he did a little Instagram video or something. He went to like a vegan place and just started eating raw meat in front of him. Like, that's gay. It's like uncouth. It's not like, I mean, hey, I get being fucking weird and goofy and, like, you know, contrary, but that was just, what are you proving, buddy? Are you proving that you got a fucking pushback hairline? I mean, that's all I could really think. You know, I don't know. Like, okay, dude's strong, but, you know, anybody to go out there and do some fucking push-ups and shit in their culture, they're gonna be strong. It doesn't, but whatever. But the funny thing is, did he, I want to know, was he saying things funny to Master Earth? Because that's just fucking hilarious to me. Jonathan Valentine, have I had any cranial work done? Other than cracking my own neck, or a little bit, like, you know, a little bit of massage work here and there. No, I've nothing. I mean, I've gotten punched in the skull plenty of times. I think that's cranial work. Fucking. No, my favorite healing modality. You talk about, like, favorite massage modality. Man, there's so many different types, man. It depends. Like, for me, no, just fucking deep tissue is good. You know, straight up, just dig in. Get the knots out. Yeah, Zach Chrono, I hear you. Yeah, bentonite and clay, that'll clean you right up. Yeah, so sorry again if I'm overlooking anybody's comments, as these as the glare is still strong today. Ultrasonics up in here. What's up, Quickening Blaze? The P code of protection. The The peacoats. Isn't that funny? Interesting. I wonder about the peacoats. You know, remember that? Those gray peacoats? The gray energy of the peacoats, or what you'd see as the gray frequencies, or the middle of the black and white, the balance, P, gray, the gray witches. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, man, I bang my head on too many things. My dog headbutts me sometimes. I talk shit. People punch me in the skull. I don't know. You know, I've hit my head on some things. It's good. Teaches you something. Doesn't teach everybody the same thing. Christopher Woodhouse, what are some easy vegetarian meals you eat? I love anything Indian food, man. Just get into the cuisine of the usually it's gonna be Southwest Indian, I believe. Southwest Indian is gonna have a very vegetarian diet. There's a few cultures in India that are very explicitly vegetarian. Obviously the Jains, but that's not just in India. That's a religion. But in India, you can find like different states within India that are very big. Like look into the Gujarat. Their cuisine is awesome. I mean, you can have a lot of masalas and red beans, okra dishes, even potatoes, spinach, vindaloo. Man, there's so many. That's the easiest way to go and the most delicious way to go, and most healing and helpful. So that's other than that, like for me, like I like you know, because I cook a lot, and whenever I cook I get fucking crazy with it. I like simple things sometimes, like just fucking potatoes with butter and a tiny bit of salt, man. I could be like a yellow gold potato with butter and like just the most little bit of salt. I'm good. But easy vegetarian meals, man. I don't look into my. I think I did a couple. No, I never did the cooking with pan episodes, did I? I think I did one or two. But on my Instagram, I put some meals up there that I made. They're a little more difficult to make, maybe. I like squash. I like just really soft squash or some carrots. I like you know what way you can do? You could do find some recipe. Here's some easy recipes. You want Ethiopian food. Carrot and cabbage stew with their bread. Fucking amazing, delicious, nutritious, quick to make. You just got to get the bread out a day early. You got to make the bread a day early because it requires just leaving it on the counter and letting it start to ferment. Yeah, and like then, you know, soups. There's a lot of soups that I enjoy. Broccoli. You start off with that. You start off with the onion and the carrot and the garlic, and you know, just a little bit of all that, and then, you know, straight broccoli on top, and then yeah, that's broccoli soup is one of my favorites. Soups, man. Soups are where they go. Soup is where you get the word supper. Yeah, you know, like that's easy to digest, get the most nutrients out of it. It's hearty. All right, Fire Drake. I've had some times where I'm sitting there in certain kinds of meditation or almost getting to sleep, and I'll get some weird things. I get either this spin this way, like here, or here. Yeah, those are two different ones. I don't get the second one too often. Hi, Christopher Woodhouse. Yeah. The pulsing in the forehead. There's a lot of things you can do to increase that. Yeah. Dimension extensions. Get yourself some sandalwood paste or sandalwood, and make a paste out of it. You can put that on your forehead. That helps to cool your forehead and helps rotation, as well as the rose water. That's what I've been kind of kicking these last week or so. And then there are some things that will. Maybe I'll do it later tonight or tomorrow. Let me look into my herb closet. Let me find you some herbs for your skull. Oh yeah, it's pretty nice, right? The backdrop is nice. This is a cool place. It's cozy. This is one of the most comfortable spots in New Orleans. You got a nice plant over here. It's a couple different colors. It's beautiful inside. People are nice. Oh, still rocking this backpack over here. Look at what it's time for. Hey, Skyhopper, thank you for the beer. Lucian, hummingbirds and butterflies. That's awesome. Are you having a connection to those? As soon as you said hummingbirds and butterflies, I hear all the chimes. Very, very much hummingbird-like. You know, like in that essence of like the quality of the animal that you'd see, they have a certain frequency or sound. And so you'd find bells to be very hummingbird-like. I see cats and crows all the time. I hung out with a cat the other day. Crows always be hanging out. Obviously, always dogs. I had this dog running with this. He was like, this chick was running with her dog. It was the one that all the Asian people have that's very fluffy. Oh man, I remember the name then and I just don't remember it now, but they're really pretty fluffy dogs with this, they're just fluffy as everything. And the dog was like running with her and just looked at me and I kind of smiled and the dog just stopped and she was like, whoa. And I was like, just kept looking at the dog. And it was so fucking funny. Chow chows, is it the chow chows? Or one of those kind of things, if you're familiar. And then lizards. Lots of geckos. I mean, they don't run up to me, but they don't have a problem with me. Crows though, crows everywhere, yo. Oh, Falun Gong. Falun Gong. I do a lot of talks there because it's if I go to a coffee shop, there's too high energy, right? Because everybody's all caffeinated. I'm already my brain is already too fucking amped up, and there's not a good place to talk. I don't like to be inside and talk. I don't like to be like when people are on their phone having a phone call inside. I find it very rude. Me saying something's rude or disrespectful. Very fucking funny, Zen. But yeah, I don't. It's weird. I don't like it. I ain't got no change on me, man. Yeah. Yeah. I find it kind of fucking like rude to be on your phone. when you're inside, like even if it's like kind of, I don't get it, because it's kind of like you could have their conversation. And so if I'm doing something like this, I would find that to be rude if they couldn't be in on the whole thing and like involved. So I can't. So, and then plus all the coffee shop is just like too many people there are just like static. And here I can be outside. It's outside of the city. I mean, it's not outside. I'm still in the city, but, and I got flowers, and I got a couple nice trees right here, and I can go inside and charge things, and I know people here, so it's comfy. I do have. I mean, yeah, it's a tea. It's kratom. But I've learned my lesson with kratom in the past. I did this, so I'm near the end of this. I just been sipping on it since. Can't drink that shit too quick. Huh. Geese and grasshoppers. Interesting. Grasshoppers are wicked. Depends on where I go, but I find a lot of different kind of birds and squirrels and shit at this one park. Christopher Woodhouse, what daily habits do I have that I would recommend? That's too big of a question. I don't know you. I don't know where you come from. I don't know what your habits already are. Maybe you're already too habitual. My habit is to be not habitual at things. Although I do have habits, I never suggest my habits to anyone else because I don't think they'd work with someone else's lifestyle. I think if you had any habit, it would be learning. That's about it, man. Adventure, find new ideas. But even at that can become too much too. I think, in the opposite respect, you have to be more contemplative, more meditative, more introverted. But then again, you might be so much of an introvert, that's not gonna sound right to you, and I'll be like, what you need to do is get the fuck out there and, it's always, those are the kind of questions I could kind of direct people in person, but if people ask me a question like that, it's too difficult to answer. There you go. There's your answer. Be loving to yourself. Unless you got to be mad, then be mad at yourself. Ain't nobody fault but your own. You ever heard that one? Yeah, a daily ritual. If that's definitely one. If you can, if there is a ritual, that would be a great one. Get up and go put your feet on the earth. That's a great one. Dimension Extension, you built yourself a grounding mat with aluminum screening. Hey, Dimension Extensions, let me upgrade you there if I may. Get yourself some copper screen, some copper mesh screen off of Amazon for like $10 or $12, and that will really upgrade the game with the grounding mat. Skyhopper, ground coffee while watching koi in a pond, a handful of water and mint, and sniff it. Yeah, I think the idea is like that the internal knowingness or something. And I'll give you this. A lot of people say you should listen to your gut, have gut instincts. But I thoroughly disagree with people that say that. The instincts or your that kind of internal wisdom. Some people's guts are so fucked up that you shouldn't listen to your gut. And I think he did typo. And so you should, if you want to listen to your gut, clean your gut out. Go ahead and do a couple enemas and do yourself some things to clean out your colon. Then go ahead and listen to your gut and see what it says. It's going to say something wildly different. But I think once you do, it'll be very helpful. Listening to your gut and having gut instinct is a great idea. But most people's guts are filled with shit. And if you really think about it, if people have been listening to their gut this whole time, which they do, it's why they're a bunch of fucking fat asses. Now, you know, it just is. They're listening to their gut because there's so many chemicals in the food that they think that's what they want. But if they got rid of all that shit, they wouldn't be wanting what they want now. So there's wisdom in listening to your gut only after you're cleansed. Big fingers on a cracked screen. So again, sorry I'm not really catching everybody's comment here because the brightness. Skyhopper on a ship. I remember seeing you on top of a telephone pole, or it was not a telephone pole, but the giant fucking pole. He was up there, yo, up in the skies, like yeah. Yeah. So I got. Hey, anyways, I only have a little bit longer on this, anyways, because I'm using a lot more juice on this device than I would be on my phone. So I'm not really getting too much charge out of this thing here. So I only got like 10% left, y'all. Sinking City, 9:06 a.m. Yeah, this morning there was the last 2 days. The moon has been out at like 8 a.m. It's pretty interesting. And yes, it's 5 o'clock. Let's see. Right now where I am, the sun is northwest. The sun to me is towards California. Like towards the probably Cali, in the upper regions of Cali, like it's not going to be as low as San Diego, probably up LA. It's probably in like LA. So for you, so Synchron, you said you in the outback, right? So it should be for you. It should be northeast, but mostly east, but a little north. Would that be right? That's weird. A dream about an ex-female. Dreams about shape-shifting. That's very interesting, Quaking Blaze. Dreams are a weird place, man. Sydney East, right? Yeah. But it's that, yeah. Can I see the moon right now? No. Hold up. Where would it be? I don't think so. No, I could see it this morning. Like I could see it for this morning until I probably would have seen it till afternoon, but I wasn't really like looking for it like that. Ah, Lucy. That's so hilarious. I won't say it anymore. Good to see you, Skyhopper. Yeah, it's very interesting and a little confusing when you get into the inception mode, where you have a dream within a dream and they're all very solid like this. That gets a little. That's where you gotta like. You have to know your parallax. We'll say it that way. That's a hard to say. So in the dream dimensions, you have to have a parallax. That's why they always have the thing. You know, he was in Inception. He'd have the thing, and you'd see if it would work. So I think that in each dimension, you probably have some sort of token or object or something that gives you some sort of like what reality you're in. Ooh, like I might be in a reality similar to this in a dream, but to know the difference between this one and that one, I would have to have one thing that I would know, like, okay, in this reality I keep my fingers like this, but in another reality I might do it different. It's funny because when I first started getting into like dream world shit, I was like, okay, I'm putting a tattoo right here. But then all of a sudden in the dream world I could see my tattoo and it didn't wake me up from the dream. Because my subconsciousness got smarter than my active, like, here's what I'm gonna do to change that, right? Because I say you won't be able to see your hands in your dreams. Will I tell you this? No, then all of a sudden as I did that, I could see my hands in my dreams. And somebody's like, all right, you won't be able to read a book. You won't be able to read. And then I put letters on my hand. So I go, okay, I'm checking my hand. I'll look in the dream and I'll be able to see it. Lucianne, she talking. Yeah, Gary Baxter, anchor reminder objects. Yeah, they change. It's funny. I think that there's they work for a while. You might find one at some point that has a certain, like, okay, this one always works in this realm. Like the thing of a coin spinning, like that, I could see why. If I just spin a coin right now, am I dreaming? Are you dreaming? Are you all dreaming? An ARO, there it is. Does anybody here have those in this realm? It's funny because I'll get one and then because I'm like, I'll give it away to someone so that way they remember me. And by remember me, I just remember something about, like, okay, they have an object now that they'll be like, oh, I have this thing here, and they'll remember something about that. So that way in the dream world they'll go, what happened to my thing? Oh wait, I'm dreaming. They just don't know why I'm giving they're like, why did you just give me your necklace? Why did you give me your ring? Why did you give me those? Well, just more purposes than what you think. Dimension extensions. What do you mean by dark lager being the black magic of beers? I don't know that I said that. In fact, unless I said that when I was drinking black lager. Is that what I said? When did I say that? What do you mean by dark lager being the black magic of beers? I mean, I guess it could be. I guess I could probably decipher that if you wanted, if I did say that. Quaking Blaze, you redacted your statements. That's quite all right. You're not on record here, but I already read them, so they're already in my mind. I know how it is, dude. Brill Lightyear in the building. Yerp. What's up, man? Haps do make males womanly. It's all that estrogen precursors. There's a bunch of weird shit but there again, there's nothing wrong with hops if you want to go to sleep. A lot of estrogen, and I don't know if it's got serotonin, but like obviously too much of it will have you, those really hipster skinny jeans people that are just like a lot of hobby beer will do that. Dimension extensions. You can't believe everything I say, but maybe I was doing some black magic for you. There is Magic Hat beer. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but yeah, I guess it is. Okay, if let me break it down for you. If I said it, I meant it. If I meant it, I said it. So if it's the black magic of beers, it's because in black magic there's a lot more elements and soil and soul and elements. So in black beers and dark beers, there's more essence of whatever they're using. For the most part, light beers just have a high alcohol content but not much substance. So like light magic, there's no substance to it. So if you say you're light worker, white wizard is very light and airy and fairy and shine light everything. But like with darker beers, just like with darker whiskeys or darker alcohol, there's more elements in it. So you're dealing with more elements and what would be considered soil or black or the earthy nature. So there you go. There's your answer. All right, Synchron. Holy shit! It's somebody that won't put her face on there but calls herself Meatwad. Hi, you. Can I call you by your name on here? I don't know how you. Big jiggly man boobs. Yeah. Well, that'd be nice. Find some. They get mad skinny though. I don't know. Maybe it's just the rest of their diet sucks. Skinny dudes with man tits. That's always funny. Big jiggly man boobs. Brill, what's good with you, sir? How you been, man? And you guys do not have much time left because my battery charger is DUN. So this broadcast will only last until this computer will allow me to do it. And from there on out, I will be on my phone, quite possibly consuming food. I don't know. White worker when I chop up lines of coke. My dog has a channel on here. Well, no, that you know who that is. Where did she go? Nah, she's not on here. Yeah, Meat comes on here sometimes, just tapping around with her paws. If she was that smart though. She's a pretty smart dog, but yeah, dimension extensions. I mean, it has its purpose, but it's gonna lower your sex drive, increase your estrogen, and make you tired. So sometimes that's a good thing, Just got to mix it up now and then. All right, Gary Baxter, good to see you. Oh no, it's Merp. Yeah, it's Ami. She knows it's not that big a deal. I was just being funny with her. Just like, why are you on that one and not your other one? Yes, Merp. I know it was just for her amusement. All right, Gary Baxter. All right, yo, I got about 5% left. So any and all last seconds in the game questions. I may do another broadcast later. Oh, it don't matter. What are you doing? I'll talk to you on my phone in a minute. My phone's inside. It was charging. And for anybody else, any last questions or comments? I may do one later. I may not. I don't know. We'll just kind of see where my brain's at. See if it's filled with food. Yes, of course. Hey, maybe this time I'll be a little more fucking sober. Not out of my fucking mind drunk. At least, hopefully, at least you enjoyed it. I was entertained for as much as I was aware of. There it is. The screen has went almost to a point where I can't read anything. So I know, you know, bro, that's how we get down. Whatever. Like you can see me in all states of weirdness and awesomeness and recluseness and all that shit. Just as everybody else on here gets to participate in this shit. But I can't really read much. This is more of a too much darkness on the screen. So it's been fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. The last one, if you didn't see it, once again, I highly suggest you go check out my last one. It was called Star Forts and a bunch of other shit. Just look for the one labeled Star Forts, and the beginning of it will really get you guys lifted off on some next level knowledge, so you can get in the gnosis and the wisdom, and yeah, dig in there because I'm gonna be talking about a lot of that shit soon, and maybe I'll actually do a whole video on it with some pictures and all that shit. So go check that out. Yeah, there you go, Quaking Blaze. Psychology class. Psychologists don't know shit. Alcohol makes you make bad decisions. I've made good decisions. I've made bad decisions while I was sober, while I was high, while I was drunk, while I was alive, it doesn't matter, man. There's a million and one reasons you make every decision. And I know that, I think most people have a better time with a drink or two in them. They get kind of loose. They can dance. Like, especially you white motherfuckers out here that can't dance. 2 drinks and you think you could dance. You still can't dance, but at least you try. So I can appreciate that. But you know what I'm saying? Everything in moderation, especially excessive life and excellence to all of you. Stay weird and funky, and maybe we'll talk later. Yeah, it is a little easier. You ain't tripping on your 2 left feet.